Okay, we're going to talk about how to get into NIDA. Now, if you're listening to this video, then your course at some point is going to tell you that you need to go to NIDA and do a lesson. Going to NIDA and doing a lesson is just like being asked to go to the library and read a book. We don't want you to read every book there. We want you to only read the particular book or books. Sometimes there may be 2 or 3 lessons in a row you need to do. But we want you to read those, not every single thing there. Well, the thing is with Blackboard being an LMS, and LMS stands for Learning Management System, NIDA is also an LMS. It's its own learning management system, and NIDA and Blackboard don't talk well. Now, we'll provide you a link in Blackboard to NIDA, but you have to log into NIDA with a separate login, and that login is provided by your instructor, so you should have already seen your instructor. If you hadn't, just a matter of seeing him or her. They will give you the login to NIDA. Usually that's handled by myself and Mr. Steve Bilhars. We'll give you a login to NIDA, but again, Blackboard is your guide. We only want you to do what Blackboard is instructing you to do. So for instance, if Blackboard says go to NIDA and complete capacitors, we only want you to do the capacitors section in NIDA. That'll be inside of Blackboard. So Blackboard's your guide. NIDA, do whatever Blackboard tells you to do within NIDA. Now, the quirky thing about NIDA is it uses Internet Explorer. Now, there's several browsers out there. There's Chrome, which is my personal favorite, represented by this icon here. There's Firefox, which is not a bad browser either. There's Microsoft Edge, which looks like the old Internet Explorer icon, but it's not quite the same. It's a darker blue, and it doesn't have the gold orbit pattern around it. But here's Internet Explorer right here. And I do have it pinned to my desktop. However, if you don't, here's how you find Internet Explorer. Come down here to the lower left corner, click on the Windows icon, just click, type INT. That's a way of searching, and you see, voila, there's Internet Explorer. Now, NIDA will not work with any of these other browsers except Internet Explorer. So you're just going to have to use Internet Explorer for it. Not my favorite browser, may not be your favorite browser either. We are in Internet Explorer now, and I'm going to go to Google. Now, inside of Blackboard, we're going to give you a link to NIDA. You're not normally going to have to Google NIDA's link. Maybe a couple of reasons you do. One, you may be unable to get into Blackboard. Blackboard's down, or you may not be able to get onto our website at the college. So if you wanted to do some things in NIDA, you can Google it. And I use Google. I don't use Bing. I don't use Yahoo, simply because I think Google does a better job of finding what you're looking for. So I'm going to type in NIDA and OFTC. And the very first thing that comes up is NIDA ILE portal. And you see it's tied to Oconee Fall Line. So I'm going to click on it, and notice it has login up here. I'm not going to log in just yet. I'm going to have to do one other thing. I'm going to have to come out here to this gear, and I'm going to have to go to compatibility view settings. And notice that oftc.edu is not down here. I've got to add it. So once I add it, I'm ready to log in. I'm going to show you that again. I'm going to turn it off. Don't worry about what you're seeing here. I'm going to remove it. But basically, you can't log into NIDA unless Internet Explorer is set to compatibility view. So I'm going to click on the gear. I'm going to go to compatibility view settings, and I'm going to make sure oftc.edu is down here. And I'm going to click add. And once it is, I'm ready to log in. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my username and password. Again, that should be given to you by your instructor. And it's going to let me in if I type in the wrong if I type in the right password. So let me try that one more time. I've got a couple of different passwords, so I think I may be using the wrong one. There we go. Now, you won't see as many courses as I have here, simply because I'm pretty well in every course we offer, or most every course. But this is just for instance, let's say you're in DC. You'll click on that and you'll see these little things pop up down here. Inside of NIDA, I may tell you to go to safety practices. So there it is under safety formulas and equations, and do just that particular section. To navigate NIDA is pretty easy. Just hit the right arrows and it'll tell you everything you're going to be going through, so forth and so on. And if you're ever part of the way through a lesson and come back and you don't want to have to go through every single slide, let's say I'm ready to start fire and safety tools here, and I'm there, and then I have to leave for the day. If I want to come back to fire and safety, I can go to menu down here, these 3 bars, hit yes, and now it'll take me back to a menu. NIDA is pretty easy. It's pretty self-explanatory, and it's got some good content to it. The one thing you always want to make sure about NIDA is you use the proper way to exit. Otherwise, it will lock you out and hold the seat for about 5 minutes, and you'll get to the point where you can't log in without waiting 5 minutes. So I'm going to hit lesson exit, and I'm going to go up here and I'm going to hit log out. And so there, I've logged out. So I logged out properly. Should be able to log right back in. Already. Let me type in my password here and see, I can log right back in. Here's what happens if I don't log in. Let's just say I close the window and I come back into Internet Explorer and I go into NIDA. We'll actually use Bing. We'll see. It does come up in Bing, so give Bing a little credit. If I try to log in now, watch what happens. See, it kicks me out. It's like I'm not logging in properly, and what it is it's holding my seat because I didn't log out properly. So in about 5 minutes, I'll be able to log in, but otherwise, I'm kind of sunk. So just to reiterate, NIDA is a separate LMS. Blackboard's going to tell you what to do within NIDA. We got to make sure that we use Internet Explorer, which is this light colored E right here. If we need to find it, we can come down here and click INT, and we'll find Internet Explorer right there. I don't know why it kicks me out of the video when I come over here and I click on the Windows icon. But what I'm doing there is simply clicking the Windows icon. I'm not going to do it because it stops the video every time. But what I'm doing is clicking this Windows icon, I'm typing INT, and that finds Internet Explorer, which is this icon right here. So if that happened earlier, you'll know. But anyway, once we find Internet Explorer, we've got to do 2 things. We've got to go to NIDA's webpage, which is this address right here. You can even write that down and navigate it to it on your own. We got to make sure it's set to compatibility view, and that's by coming up here and clicking add and making sure this oftc.edu is there, and then we can log in. So I'm going to try to log in just to see if it'll let me in now that a little bit of time's expired. Yep, there we go. So it does hold that seat hostage for a little bit if you don't log out properly. But NIDA is a good LMS. It's just a little quirky about how to get to. But as always, if you have questions on getting in, using the software, please see an instructor. Thank you very much.